Hello and welcome to this Lab 5 instruction video on how to do 1 and 2 sample t-tests. So first thing you want to do, as always, is open up your GSS 2018 dataset in SPSS. Here I have the data editor window open. And the first thing I'm going to do here is we're going to do a 1 sample t-test. So I'm going to go to Analyze, Compare Means, 1 sample t-test. I'm going to switch this so that the display variable names is here. And then I'm going to move HRS1 as the variable into the test variable window. So here is our HRS1. I'm going to move it to our test variable. Then I'm going to select the test value here as 40. And then I'm going to hit OK. So I've selected HRS1, set the test value as 40, I'm going to hit OK. And here is the display we get. It gives us, again, the number of cases, the mean for this sample, the standard deviation, and the standard error of the mean. And then it gives us our testing statistics. So we have a t statistic of 3.289, degrees of freedom are 1,380, again one less than our n, and it shows us our one-sided, so our one-tailed test, as well as our two-tailed test, and the mean difference in upper and lower bounds. But really what we care about here is this t statistic and these significant levels. So here it's saying that we can say that our sample statistic is statistically significant at the 0.001 level. It's statistically different from our test score of 40. So we set our test score as 40. We were testing against the kind of standard work week of 40 hours, and we have evidence here that our sample statistic is statistically significantly different from our test score that we came up with, the test value of 40. Alright, let's try a 2 sample t-test. So this is going to be comparing 2 groups. So the first thing we're going to do is go to Analyze. We're going to go to Compare Means. So Analyze, Compare Means, and this time we want Independent Samples t-test. And HRS1 is still our main variable of interest here, so we're going to type that in, move it here. But we need a grouping variable. And so let's use sex as our grouping variable. Move that to our grouping variable. Now we need to define our groups. So right now SPSS doesn't know what we mean when we say we want to use sex as our grouping variable, so let's define that for SPSS. We want group 1 to be 1 and group 2 to be 2. That's because men are labeled 1, women are labeled 2. This will tell SPSS to group sex as male and female, and we don't have to do much else. So make sure we have entered 1 for group 1 and 2 for group 2. And then we'll hit continue, and then we'll hit OK. And so now we've generated some data for our 2 sample or independent samples t-test. Let me make this readable. It gives us the n here. So there was 670 men in this sample and 711 women. On average, the men worked 44.6 hours and the women worked 38.15. Gives us the standard deviation and standard error. And we get a test statistic, or a t statistic here, of 8.476 and a degrees of freedom of 1,379. Again, 1,381 minus 2 because we have 2 samples here. And again, we have significant at the 0.001 level. And what that means is that there is a statistically significant difference between the mean number of hours worked for men and the mean number of hours worked for women. And it tells us here what the mean difference is. And this is just the mean for men subtracted from the mean of women. So it's going to be 44.6 minus 38.15, and you get 6.445. But also gives us some of the standard error, etc. So that's it for this lab. It's pretty short, it's pretty sweet. Make sure you can do this forward and backwards though, because you will need to be able to do this with a different variable in the lab assignment. Anyway, thank you and good luck.